I love explaining to people that I was gonna go watch Kill, and they go, "Hey, Will, what's this movie about?" And I'm like, "There's a bunch of dudes on a train, and the main character has to kill everyone on the train." And that's I'm not exaggerating. That is the actual story of the film. It's like Train to Busan minus the zombies. Is that a apt way to describe Kill, I guess?
Maybe, because there's actually a little bit of social commentary thrown in underneath all of the killing going on in this film.
Yeah.
And I think there was a little bit of that in Train to Busan, as with Snowpiercer, but not with Under Siege 2 Dark Territory.
Oh, you're clearly the best one of the
train films, yeah.
Yeah, of the train movies. They're train movies, yeah, including Thomas the Tank Engine.
The story is very simple. You have our main character, Laksha. He is in the army, some sort of maybe higher military rank, and he's on a train because his love interest is also on a train, and they're secretly in love, actually. The father doesn't know about it. She actually got married in the beginning of the movie, and he just nonchalantly crashes the wedding. But anyway, all that stuff is just set up because they're in love with each other. He proposes to her right as soon as they get on the train, and then they go their separate ways because they're supposed to meet up in Delhi, I believe, New Delhi. Mm-hmm. And then what ends up happening is the train is being robbed by, I guess,
bandits.
Just local, lowly, poor bandits. And what ends up happening is they realize that the love interest, played by Tanya Manikala, her father actually owns, I think, like telecommunication services. And so they decide, okay, we're not bandits anymore. Now we're holding these people hostage because we can get so much more money from that. The main character, Laksha, he finds out about this kidnapping and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to have to go give them a piece of my mind because I love her. And if something happened to her, I might do something along the lines of this title.
I mean, you said give them the piece of my mind, like as if it's just, he's going to do like a stern talking to.
Yeah, I was
like, don't you be doing that. And then like, oh, I'm sorry. And then they just walk off the train.
He wags his finger just like a little too hard at some of these people.
I am noticing that we have a lot more violent media that's coming out of Indian cinema, and this is one of them. So it's entertaining to watch and to see on screen, right? Lots of like very gruesome, violent kills, and I think that's what really sells the movie, because if you're really talking about the things that lead up to the violence or the big blood splatter and such, it's, you know, the action itself is just okay, and that's kind of like my only real gripe with the movie. Otherwise, again, I'm trying to be positive here. It's very entertaining. It's very gripping. It's very intense. Even the drama, as melodramatic as it can get sometimes, to the point where it's hilarious, unintentionally hilarious.
My God, you were laughing so loud at these. You were inappropriately laughing at moments that I think you weren't really supposed to. And I just kept on like hearing you in my ear. You're like wildly cackling as these characters that we're supposed to care about are just dying, just dying in slow motion. And the villain, played by Raghav Juhal, he's hurting these people that you're supposed to care about. And he's like, I'm not sure if you're hurt enough. He's like, let me do some more stabbing. He's like, wait, I'm not sure if you're stabbed just enough. And
oh my God,
you are just cackling the whole time.
I'm like, cackling right now just thinking about it. It's because this is just me, right? Me personally. Maybe you guys will watch this movie and You'll be more like, a sane person and be like, oh, that was like emotionally damaging to see, a beloved character on screen die. But for me, it's like, it's so over the top. It's like, like 3 stabbings isn't enough. She's got to really sell it. They're like, now we need a reason for our main characters to continue with the story and get their the villains need
revenge.
their just desserts. Yeah, revenge. Yes.
They do it right with setting up the character connections and the emotional connections, and then these people are holding them hostage now, and the main character is like, well, I just wanted to get some tonight. What the hell? And so what this story really is about is a man who's got blue balls, and he really needs to extinguish them by taking a fire extinguisher and shoving it in somebody else's mouth.
Sure.
and exploding everywhere. It's symbolism for his pent up man juice. That's exactly
man juice. Like, when you put it like that, it's very eloquently put. I'm gonna take everything you just said and type in the Wikipedia description. That's a synopsis of this movie.
I am hungry. I want to eat the biggest meal of my life.
As you're following our main character, because he's clearly going through hell. I thought, okay, maybe he's gonna be indestructible killing machine, and he kind of is and kind of isn't. Right? He has to kind of strategize his way around the train. That's the stuff that I kind of enjoyed the most, because we are shown that, yes, he is a killing machine, but there's supposed to be like 36 bandits, right? And for him to take them all on at once would be a monumental task, right? And he's clearly going through a lot, and he can't handle a lot of the time. So sometimes he just has to funnel them through certain, smaller corridors, maybe use the environment to his advantage, maybe use other people's dead bodies as like things like that to his advantage. And I like that aspect of it. Then there comes down to the fight choreography. And this is one of those movies, I don't even think I should talk about this for too long. It's not great. Lakshya is the actor. He trained for like 8 to 9 months prepping for the role, and he seems okay. Definitely doesn't seem like he's a martial artist by any means. We have to edit around him a lot, and that's because not only because of budgetary reasons, but because I think we're really using train sets.
It wouldn't have been possible if I had to shoot in the real train.
I build dams, I build mandir, I build palaces, but not train.
They built a train car, and they built it so that it could actually be taken apart so that they can get certain shots, but not in every conceivable way. They could take out certain seats, they could take out certain pieces of it so you can move the actors in and out and you can have the camera there, but they still needed it to be a functioning train cart, so there is still limitations on where the camera could go.
Mm-hmm.
The whole movie is so close quarters. The camera has to be up in there because, yes, they made the train movable with some of the set pieces, but they couldn't do everything.
Yeah.
So you're just like, the camera's just like, boom, like right there sometimes.
It really does feel like that. A lot of the times it's like nipple up. Like the camera the camera is like really in there. And at first I thought maybe it was just because of the set limitations. But given all that you just said too, I think I just realized that it's stylistic too. Like it's a train, if you really are supposed to feel like you're in there with them, it's supposed to feel a little bit claustrophobic.
We've seen a star being born on this set.
I think I felt pretty much the same as you did when it came to the action, because it's so close, so they have to kind of cut to multiple angles, like you said. Mm-hmm. I think it works for the overall feel of the movie because you're in a train, it's claustrophobic. There is a sense of confusion sometimes, but as you and I really nitpick action like that, we kind of want to see it all in a very clear shot. That's our bias. I think it works for the movie, but I personally don't like that. But it never felt like I couldn't understand what was going on. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of moving pieces on the screen, but you can still make it out in broad strokes. So I was perfectly fine with the action, but I was hoping it was going to be a little more martial arts choreography based when it was more so choreography revolving around movement that was happening with traversing these tight spaces. Like you can only have the camera be in so many different places. So like, okay, how do you make choreography in this little hall? And then how do you place that camera so that you're maximizing shot composition?
Sure.
And they do an okay job with it because you still make out everything that's going on. But I was hoping for just something more satisfying to my martial arts taste.
The camera operators were standing that you are in the hitting range of the fighters.
And it's funny because like you're in it for the melodrama a little bit and the revenge plot. I mean, the villain is cartoonishly evil, and I think that speaks to like Indian cinema in general. Like when you have a villain, like they're not just villains; they're like Satan incarnate. Like they are the most evil of evil, right? And that's what you want to root against. Someone to really like, cheer. You could cheer for your main character when he finally triumphs over the main villain, and this is one of the most. He's obviously a very despicable antagonist, and you're just really just waiting for the movie to end, and but it feels deserved at the end. You feel like in their final confrontation, it's like, oh, like how is our hero gonna get out of this one? And like I feel like it was intense throughout the film, and when we finally get there, it's like, oh, come on, just get him. So when you can elicit that kind of reaction out of me,
exactly,
you do a good job. Yeah, you're saying?
I was gonna say, like, I think it ends a little on the lower end for me.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping it would be a little more fulfilling in how the bad guy gets his just desserts, like you mentioned. He gets it in the end, obviously, but I don't know. I was kind of hoping for something at least a little more over the top because everybody else gets it in a more spectacular manner. And the way the final villain goes out, you're just like, okay, sure, yeah, we get it. That's fine. It ends exactly where it should. We don't get this epilogue with him just like, oh, that was really hard. What do you think about this other character who's actually still alive right now? And he's like, oh boy.
God.
Oh,
God, man.
Remember when I got stabbed in the same place in the shoulder 4 times throughout the movie?
Shoulder, right?
They keep stabbing his friend like in the shoulder like the entire time. I was like, dude, what is that? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still had a good time. It wasn't the greatest, but it was an entertaining movie. I actually would recommend it if it's available to you guys in theaters right now. I think it's limited release right now, right? So if you can,
it just came out.
If you guys get access to it, I say check it out. Support some like smaller films. I say smaller, but this movie apparently warranted or garnered the attention of 8711. They immediately want to remake this, and I have questions. Like, is it gonna be the same exact story? Is it gonna have the same premise? Well, I mean, but make it America. Make it America.